Yeah,
Yeah. So, what y'all think of season one of Justbarewithus? What y'all think?
season one. Season one is it's been interesting, but we made progress. We started it again, and we had some little setbacks, but we kind of stuck it through. We stuck it through, and we got some episodes out. Um, so season one for me was like, all right, we getting back on track. Like we getting back on track. That's what season one was. Now we back on track. Now season two is when we'll hit like our strive, you know. So that's how I look at
That's
season
what
one.
that's what you think.
Yeah, we back on track now. We getting out, we getting back our chemistry. We just getting everything right. We working out some kinks and stuff like that. So now season two coming up, it should definitely be elevated for sure.
I mean, I don't think we ever lost like any chemistry. Like naturally, like when we just like how we doing right now, like when we just have a conversation, it just flows.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But I think season one, like it's hard um revamping everything, and change is it can be a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of things that we had to change, we had to adjust just to make this season what it was. And it was a learning experience for sure on I think all parts, you
Hmm.
know. But that's just comes with the territory. Like if you want to be better, you got to be able to change and adapt.
That's correct. That's true. That's a fact. You gotta be able to change and adapt for sure.
What you
Um,
think, Stan?
Season one was I feel like we had some like real conversation, like topics. You know what I'm saying? The topics was like very important. Um, talking about school, college, faith, test. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like our topic was A1. Um, just behind the scenes, I feel like, well, for me, I think I need to adjust um, with the things that we agree upon. Uh, but um, I think being more consistent, if anything, that's our something I can probably say. Season one that needs to be fixed or adjust. So yeah,
cons- consistency is gonna be consistency is the key to a lot of things in life.
yeah,
Um, if you can, if you stay consistent with something, like eventually, like you'll outwork somebody else. Like consistency will beat, just straight up what would you call like talent. Like
hmm
you stay consistent with something, you'll start to carve out your own niche. You'll carve out your own lane. And once you're in your own lane, can't nobody beat you because it's your own lane.
right.
So if we just stay consistent with what we're trying to do and the message that we're trying to get out to people, I think we'll have a niche, and I think we'll definitely, my thing is always to inspire. I think we'll definitely impact some lives and inspire some people if we stay consistent. And it's a learning process. We all learning how to stay consistent and what it means to be consistent. You know, that takes a lot. It takes
Well,
a
let me
lot.
ask you this. Let me ask y'all this. What y'all think about all these people, all these podcasts, or people who's in the content space breaking up? What y'all think about that?
Um,
That's a real good question.
it's a
Splitting.
part of life. It's a part. It's a part of life. It's a part of any relationships. A lot of stuff can come in between relationships, and if you are in a group, communication is key, and then everyone has to. What's your end goal? Everyone got to know their end goal. Like, what's your purpose in what you're doing as a group? Like, is everyone on the same page? We all are three separate individuals that have our own mindsets, our own ideologies, so our own wants. So that can be a tough thing to bring together a group of people, and for it to stay that way, you know, we all got to just die to our egos, uh, and put each other first. If we hold each other accountable, put each other before we put ourselves first. Um, I think that's where the key is, and that's where relationships or just groups can stay together. Uh, you look at a group like the Locks, right? Three separate individuals. All of them are spitters. All of them are tough, but their core value is like, we in this together. We brothers. Like, we're not about to let outside noise get to us. Whatever stuff we got to deal with, we work with it internally. We deal with it internally, but we all got the same mindset, and the goal is to be the best group and to keep the brotherhood tight. So all of us got to have that, at the forefront. And I think a lot of people can't, and that's why people like break up all the time. People put
Uh,
themselves before the group, and then that's where shit just, you know, people
yeah,
stop at.
I agree, and I think also there's a team aspect to it. Like all of us have been a part of a team at some point in time. You can't
Mm-hmm.
always be the star point guard. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You can't always be the star shooter or whatever, your position is on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to come off the bench. Sometimes, you got to take you have to kind of like take a seat in a sense to
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like your ego, in general, like we all have to kind of quash our egos so that way we can be a part of a team and make this thing happen. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it really depends on the people if you want to make it work or not. Like you said, like there's a lot of people out there who can't be on the team. Like they need to be that person. They need to be that guy or that girl. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And at any cost, you know, oh well they just didn't see my vision. Like but you saying my vision.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying? If you a group, you a team, like you think together.
right.
You may be individuals, you may think or have different ideas, but the common goal, like you said, is to be on one accord. And not everybody's that way. Sometimes it could be other issues, finances could get into it, other people, outside influences,
Mm-hmm.
and strictly, I mean, it could be, they just lost interest, like it just wasn't their passion anymore.
Right, right,
So it
right.
could be anything.
They always say like, hey, get into a business with your friends can be like a difficult thing, and I see where it could be if you know if you're just not like straight up with people and just like this. But if y'all supposed to be boys or friends, then as long as you keeping it 100 with each other, then and you communicate, then y'all could just weather any storm together. But it's got to be like an open line of communication.
So let me ask y'all this.
Uh-huh.
Um, what do you think separates us from other podcasts?
Um, what I think separates us from other podcasts is Stan mentioned it earlier, like our topics that we've been on discussing, right? It's not just like surface anymore with us as far as the podcast. Like I think we are realizing, like, okay, if we really start to just dive deep with some of our questions and topics, like we really have something to say. Like we all have great opinions and great viewpoints uh, that can really like help people. Like somebody can hear what we're saying and take something from it and apply it to their life. So I think that's what's going to separate us is our conversations. We're not just having just surface level conversations. These are starting to become more conversations that's really relatable to people in their everyday life that can like again like affect people in a positive way. Um, and chemistry's like we got great chemistry when we're on it and we'll pause. Make sure I clear that up. Pause. When we're on it and we're like on top of our stuff, like the chemistry is great, and then people people like that. People can just gravitate to the chemistry that we got because we all boys, so it's just kind of natural. So, but I think the key point is just our conversations is different now.
I would agree. Um, we have a unique perspective on. Um,
And it's only gonna get better.
yeah, I feel like we have the world. I mean, we can talk about the world's perspective, but we also have a spiritual
Hmm.
perspective to go with
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And people could definitely uh, learn from that, get wisdom from that, and try to apply what we may say or our opinions, if they agree, to apply that to their lives. So uh, that's why I think we differ. So what I'm saying, we have two unique perspectives. Uh, yeah, that's what
I, I think it's I think we just real, like to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like not like in a like a way to say like other people are fake or anything like that when they are interacting. But I think
There's
it's
a lot
just
of fake
like
people out there.
yeah, there are,
Like
but
fake
yeah,
things
there
out
are
there.
scam,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
right, right.
I feel like we're just real with how we approach things and
Hmm.
the way we approach it is like to give you another perspective, not to tell you what you should think, but it's just
Uh,
like this is the way I think. But do
Hmm.
your own research. We
Hmm.
always used to say that. Do your own research. Do your own research because what I think may not fit what you believe,
Hmm.
or what Wayne thinks, or what Stan thinks may not, mold to what you're trying to do moving forward. So I think just being real and judging somebody, for their perspective or their view, which is tough sometimes when you feel strongly about a subject, but just not judging people for their viewpoints is it breaks the ice. It allows you to have an actual real conversation.
Um, and for season two, one thing uh, I'm trying to improve on, you know, so I can make sure that I'm leveling up too in the podcast. Um, is I got to be a little bit more personable, you know. Uh,
you never like
I
pause.
gotta be a little bit more personable, uh, because I got to remember like this is a platform, right? And this is a platform, and our viewpoints is going out to the masses. So
Side,
I got to,
side note, uh,
yeah.
people in the audience. This is who he is in real life. Even when I
Yeah,
ask him,
this
he
is
don't even
facts.
express nothing at all. So
Yeah, and if you
like,
text
this is
him,
who
it
he
might
is.
take him a week to respond.
Or he be like, or you ask him what's good, let's respond. Oh, I'm good. He don't really like to. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
That's
So
who he is. So hopefully, the audience can get something out of him because we can't. So,
Yeah, yeah. So for season two, like just just diving in a little bit deeper,
mm,
because people relate
you heard
to
that?
I did, but I
No.
was gonna ignore it. You
Yeah.
know,
dive a little deeper in conversations
Oh, gotcha.
and with my
appreciate that
viewpoints,
clarification, bro.
of course, and with my viewpoints. So,
Mm, mm.
because again, like I said, we have a platform, so I got to make sure that uh, I'm just speaking my truth, on some of these topics, because people can get something from it. So that's something that I'm trying to improve on.
You know, when you said that the topics, that made me think of something. What do you think, or what do y'all think, out of all the topics like we've had or conversations we've had, what do you
Hmm.
think like sparked the most like reactions from like viewers or followers?
Um,
The faith and test, maybe, I would say.
what episode? Hmm,
Well, not necessarily episode, but just like topics in general, like we've spoken of or talked about.
I gotta go back and see which one. I don't remember which one had the most, I guess, interaction with the fans, but I think the an episode that was, I think, meaningful to me was probably the faith one, because that's when I gave like a testimony about what I kind of went through, as far as like me knowing what faith was for the first time. So I think that section right there, the faith one.
What do you think, Stan? You said
The
what
faith
was it
and
again?
the faith. Well, the faith definitely. I remember doing like a promo thing on Instagram, and a lot of people wanted to post that we made or either posted on our main page. And I reposted it. I got a lot of feedback. So I think the faith one for sure. Uh, and
Uh,
then what? Go ahead.
Not to say to fill up the personal one for me is faith, but one that I felt like we got a lot of traction to was, of course, our first one. It's college or going to a university a scam.
Mm, true, true.
That right there is just a hot topic. Like that
Right.
was like, when you talking about that, like you really messing with people's emotions right there, because a lot of us have went to college and stuff like that, and we on the other side of it, so we can see like, okay, this is a scam. But there's a lot of people that feel like, nah, going to school is the right thing to do and is the best thing to do. So I
They say
think that kind of triggered a lot of, yeah, that triggered a lot of emotions. So I think we got a lot of traction with that one for sure.
they said PhD stands for physical head damage.
Mm. Uh, I think personally, mine was growth.
Mhm.
Um, just because it's so essential, man. Like to getting to that next step, that next level. Like
Mhm.
if you don't like the craziest thing to me, and I've been there, just to be honest, where there's times where I didn't want to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
I'll be
comfortable.
right back, but I'll keep going.
How
Just bear
dare
with
you?
us.
Just bear with it.
But there's times like you know what I'm saying, like where I didn't want to grow. Like I was comfortable. I didn't want to shake things up. I didn't want to take any risks. And I feel like a lot of people have been in that space,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, or feel like they're in that space, so they just kind of coast, not taking any risks, not trying to, you know, rock the boat in a sense. But I feel like for real, like the moment you do take a risk and you put yourself out there, like it's one of those things where it's rewarding, like beyond, you know, what you could have imagined.
Right.
Because it makes you feel like I accomplished something or you accomplished something. So that's why I think growth is like my personal one. But as far as like episodes and questions we had, I think we get the most reactions like whenever we talk about like relationships, to
The
be honest.
What was that?
Because,
Our
huh?
last question. Our last question has some comments. And what was the question? Oh, should like the first date? Should a woman expect you to spend a certain amount of money on the first date uh, to get like a second date with her? It was something along those lines. That was a question, and that was yeah.
I, I think for real, it's just like the funny thing about us in general, like human beings, like, I feel like we think we know stuff,
Hmm.
but we don't really have like an idea. Like, say for an example, for like ladies, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're thinking one way about how dates should be or things should be done. Not all, but some.
Hmm.
And guys think completely different ways. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to see like different perspectives, especially like when you be looking like the DMs and stuff. Like, no, that's stupid. Like, I would never do that. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody else saying, well, this should be this way because the guy is supposed to be like this. Like, it really kind of opens up your mindset to like different perspectives and how people think, which is pretty crazy because it really shows you like no matter how much training we all have that's similar or classes we've taken or whatever you want to call different things that you've learned in institutions that you've learned in, like we all still have individual mindsets. You know what I'm saying? And it really comes out when you actually kind of like poke the bear to see, yo, my sayings, I have the sayings, bro.
Oh, you poked the bear. All right.
Yeah,
Then you
You
yeah.
poked
never
the.
heard this?
Nah, I heard
Y'all
it
never
before.
heard this?
I,
Okay.
nah, that's
That's a
So who
definitely.
said
first.
that? Okay.
Yo, I'm older than y'all, son. Internally, I'm older than y'all.
Okay, so for that season one, so like okay, now we about to level up. We about to go to season two. So what are we looking forward to? Like, what's on the horizon? What can people expect from us?
More hot topics, more. Like you said, you're gonna uh, open up pause more. Uh,
I
I
mean, can she?
appreciate
You
you
could have. Yeah, I mean, I was
changing
still.
that.
Yeah, I mean, you could have probably said another
you,
word or something.
Yeah,
um, speak up.
dialoguing more.
Speak on. Speak about your uh, situation more
Innermost
in
thoughts.
detail. All
Got you. Okay.
right,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
all right. So,
Yeah. Man.
season two gonna be lit. I mean, we're gonna have uh, the topics. I feel like we're gonna have more guests. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
For sure.
Yeah, we're gonna have more guests coming on the platform, and yeah, I feel it's gonna be lit. Season two is gonna be lit.
And I feel like also like as far as the guests go, like ladies, like we want to have conversations. You know what I'm saying? The only way for us to grow is for us to have conversations, to get to know each other, get to understand how each other, how we all think.
Hmm.
So, if you're interested, in being on one of our podcasts, let us know. We'll see if we can go ahead and get that in the works. But I think that's one of the main things I'm looking forward to is, showing like a different perspective. And then I think also it's just like seeing what's in store next for real. Like we know where we want to go,
Hmm.
and just seeing it come to fruition is just what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think in all aspects we're about to see growth, from our conversation to uh, from our visuals. It could be the small things, from our visuals to our sound. Everything is going to be better for season two. Uh, and if you see a decline in that, if you don't see that we're getting better as fans, as an audience, then you got to let us know. Like, uh, because each season should get better. You know, our fans should be growing with us throughout this journey, right? Just bear with us as we're still trying to figure this out. So our fans should be growing with us throughout this journey of us getting better as a podcast. And this podcast is going to turn into plenty of other things too.
So,
I wonder, what would y'all say is like the toughest part about doing a podcast for those people who haven't started one or who are thinking about doing one? Like, what would you say is the toughest part about, starting one?
Scheduling,
Hmm.
Yeah.
especially if you're doing multiple like co-hosts.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause everybody got their own life. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
family, job, work. You know, so like scheduling and actually just saying, all right, I'm gonna do it. Some people might get like, oh, I got all these ideas, and not actually do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the biggest challenge.
Scheduling that kind of goes into like consistency, like
Hmm.
consistency. One advice that I think is probably going to help us too. Advice that we can take too is, if you're going to start, try to record as much episodes as possible, so you're kind of ahead of the ball. So you kind of have like
You have a
you
full
kind of
clip. You
yeah,
have a
you got
full
a full clip that you can just roll out.
right.
You know, so you're kind of ahead of the game. So it can help you be a little bit more organized. And I think that's something that we're gonna do too for season two. And I think that will help us internally. It will flow better if we just have plenty of episodes just recorded. Everything is ready to go, from our visuals to the audio to editing to the rollouts. So yeah, that's like a piece of advice that I would give too. So consistency for sure.
Uh, I agree with what Stan said. Is starting it, like
Mm,
that's the main thing right there. Like putting your ideas to work.
mm,
Um, don't be afraid to, because we're so afraid to look a certain way
mm-hmm,
or for people to think something about the way we're doing things. Like just be you, put your podcast out, do what you think is best, and you'll get a rhythm over time. Like it's not going to be your first two episodes or so that you're going to just be, what I'm saying, the next top podcast. Like it's going to take time for you to get a rhythm and understand how to do certain things, how to do your transitions. I was going to say
mm-hmm.
transactions, your transitions. Um, just being able to come up with good topics. But I think that's also another thing. Like people have to understand. Like it's difficult to be different. There's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of people out there doing the same thing, the same topics. Like what sets you apart? What makes you unique?
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to find what your niche is in life as far as like your podcast goes and stick to that. You can always throw other things in there to kind of like make it general for more fans and more people. But I feel like you need to figure out what it is specifically is your lane, and once you get your lane, stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you're gonna get your base up.
It's a fact. You can't lose if you stay in your own lane. You can't lose. It's your lane. So
Yeah.
how can you lose?
It's your
EYE.
own name.
EYE. It's a
It's your
fact.
own name.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Like I think when we first started the podcast, I mean, we never really we had the idea like we was going, yeah, we gonna be it. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't have consistency in the beginning, and sometimes, like I said, it takes a while to learn consistency. It takes a while to learn how to do your audio. It takes a while to learn how to do your cameras, your video, your
Mm,
editing. You know, it takes a while to learn how to put out the right topics in the right order so that it flows. Like your conversation can't be super choppy. We've been there before where we've had conversations and it's here, then it's there, and then we talking about basketball, and then we want to talk about this. Like everything has a place.
There's a lot
Like
of behind the scenes stuff that goes into it.
right. Shout out to my cousin Mo. Um, when we first started, he kind of told me that. He was like, "Yo, y'all got some good content, but it's kind of choppy. Like, get a whiteboard, write out your ideas, and
Mhm.
then keep it there so you can see it." You know what I'm saying? And following through with that advice, like it kind of keeps you on track. Certain things keep you on track. Whatever works best for you, you know what I'm saying, to keep you organized is key.
And that's helped us.
Yeah.
That's an
We
advice that we took and we ran with it. It's helped us for
we
sure.
use that whiteboard to the death.
Ah,
Gotta bring that back.
Yeah, that's a true OG to Just Bear With Us podcast. That whiteboard.
We still got some videos of the whiteboard in some of our videos.
Yeah, and this you gonna make mistakes. You know, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like I think that's key too. Like we sometimes want everything to be perfect,
Hmm.
like right out the gate, and it's not gonna be. Like you're gonna get feedback. Take your feedback and help it to or use it to improve. Like don't get upset if somebody tells you your topic suck.
You should want that. You should want well, not your topics to suck, but you should want
Right.
you should want like you know criticism. Like you want feedback. Like it's only to help you to improve. So don't look at it as a negative thing for sure.
Right. And I think the more you grow, like the more you'll understand like criticism is key, bro.
Hmm.
Like
That's a part of growth.
there was it wasn't a podcast, but I can't remember who the guy was. He was talking about how he always listened to his haters. And he was like, if you're not listening to your haters, if you don't have haters
Hmm.
also, then you're not doing things right. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like you need to listen to them because they're critiquing you. They're giving you everything you need to
Hmm.
fix whatever you need to fix.
Hmm.
It's up to you to choose if you want to use that for good or for bad. Like, oh, this person talking crazy. Like they talking about we don't have good topics. They don't know what they talking about. Okay, we don't have good topics. So what do we need to change? What do we need to look at as far as like how we're delivering our message? How we're interacting with fans, how we're interacting with, each other. Like use what they're telling you to make yourself better.
So when I ask people like, hey, if I'm telling people about the podcast, I'm like, yo, check it out, but make sure you have like some criticism. Like I want feedback. Like I want that. So I tell them like, make sure you have some feedback from for me after you listen to it. Like you should want that.
That's true. And what do you think the fans or people who, listen to our podcast, like what do you think they want to see in season 2 and moving forward?
Um,
I threw you for a loop there.
nah, I think
That was another saying, by the way.
I think they want to see growth from us as a group, and some of the people that I've spoken to want to want to see growth as a group and see growth from each of us as individuals on the podcast. Uh, Again, something I mentioned before is for me is like uh, some people I've spoken to, they want to hear me like speak a little bit more and give a little bit more of my opinions on topics. So I think that's a part of some growth, and I think people want to see just individual growth from all of us. Um, yeah, I think that's what it is for me. We
um, uh,
What was that?
that was a good question. I'm trying to think. Like,
That's
uh
how you think? What
uh
the heck?
that
I'm trying.
Right.
All right.
What the heck was that?
All right. I got
Yo, you're
jokes.
moaning on the camera. You all right?
Right, like what's wrong with this guy?
It's not moaning. That's a sigh. Like we talking about.
That was not a sigh. A sigh is like that's a sigh.
All right.
He was doing something else.
I'm trying to think. What do the fans want to see? I guess like still have our real conversation, like being real. Like that's who we are as a core. So I feel like the conversations got like I don't
Gotta
think
elevate.
I don't think we the one thing we had in season one that should continue in season two is the real conversations, and so that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think our conversations is a big key, but I also think um, a way for them to interact a little more. Like we do try to, stay on top of our DMs and our posts and everything like that. But just being able to, you know, have people interact with us a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
in the podcast. Um,
I think we should have more lives. To be honest with you.
right, because we did that, you know, during the pandemic, like earlier part of it,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, we were still trying to learn, trying to figure things out on how we need to do it on our side, but definitely like a live where we can really interact with people, maybe have them ask some questions,
For sure.
you know what I'm
For
saying, on
sure.
the spot. So
What are
it's
some topics that y'all want to discuss? We going live at this time. Let's talk about it. Like
right.
just have a raw conversation. Like unscripted. Just raw conversation.
Facts. Yeah, I think that it makes it um, not only more interesting, but it allows, you know, people who follow the podcast to be able to be a part of it. Like
Right.
when you're a part of something, bro,
Mm-hmm.
like you're invested in it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like whether it's a business, whether it's a workout, whatever it is, like when you're a part of something, you're invested in it. And being able to get more people invested in our podcast is only going to help us to grow and be more successful.
Mm-hmm. I agree for sure.
So,
Um.
okay.
No, go ahead.
Um, if there is one thing you could take away from this podcast, what would it be?
If there's one thing I could take away from this podcast, what would it be? Let me think about that one. Let me go ahead and think about that. Just one thing that I could take away from this podcast. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, I ain't want to brag or anything. I do
nah,
have a lot of good questions.
nah. One thing that I could take away from this podcast is when you get tested, right? When you get tested, because throughout the journey of doing this podcast, you know, we as a group have been tested. Uh, how are you going to evolve from the test? Like are you going to see it through? Uh, are you going to give up? Are you going to fold? Uh, and I think we have done a good job of persevering. Uh, so that's
He,
one
he
thing
did
I
say
think.
he did say one.
That's true, but I was thinking of multiple ones myself.
Right,
So.
No, I'm
you
just
did
saying.
say
I think.
one.
No. I'm just saying, I think that's. I think that's what I got
He's saying
from.
you talking too much already.
I
I mean, I'm just
think
saying.
that's what I got from the podcast. It's perseverance.
All right. So perseverance. What about you, Stan?
Accountability,
Mm.
because we talk. There's times where Julian would get on me, Wayne, you would get on me. So
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying. For me, I feel like it's accountability. Pause.
I mean,
Come on.
I don't get on you, but I
Right.
mean,
We've
I just
had
told you, man,
discussions
Pause. You know what I'm talking
just right here, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I think for me, one thing I took away is being selfless. Um, it's hard when you gotta adjust. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We all have a way
To do
of
things.
right. We just want to do it our way,
Hmm.
but you can't do that. Like I'm gonna share something because I feel like it helps us.
Hmm.
It's not like super personal or nothing like that, but
Hmm.
like we have a rule, like majority rules.
Right. Right.
Like
Hmm.
if you feeling like you want to do something in the podcast and the other two aren't on board,
Hmm.
it's not gonna go down. Like, and you got to be okay with that. And
Hmm.
that I struggled with that in the beginning because it's like, man, I have these ideas. I want to do it this way,
Hmm.
and they're like, nah, that's not it. And I'm like, nah, but it's like, nah, that's not it. And you got to understand, like, you got to be selfless. You can't put yourself forward and leave the group behind. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all equals. There's no front man. There's no star person here. Like, there's no, superstar. Like, we all on the same team. We all on the same level, and we gotta think level headed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have to have the same mindset, and then to be selfless, like, it takes a lot. Like you really have to conform like your thinking so that you don't be that person in a sense. Like you're not trying to cause friction or anything like that. You got to understand like it's about the team. So being selfless is key to me. Like it definitely taught me a lot.
That's a key one. This could be like a whole. This could be like a whole topic in itself. But you said selfless. One thing that I heard a while back. I heard this in marriage counseling actually, um, and it's you know when you're in a group and two people are coming together, or a group, you gotta die to self to make what y'all trying to build work. And ever since I heard that, that's been something that kind of like it sticks with me. It resonates with me. Like you got to die to self, man. What is that? What is dying to self to build something brand new? Like, uh, so I'm that's just a thought I'm thinking because you said like selfless. I'm like, damn, you gotta die to self. Like you gotta
You
die
do.
to the way you think or what you want to do is like, okay, you gotta die to self to elevate what you're trying to build. Like,
Yeah,
you
like one person can't be right all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people feel like they are right, and you might be in certain instances, but you can't be right all the time.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
especially if your group, you know what I'm saying, ain't rocking with it. So you're gonna choose your ego over, your group, or you like you said, you're gonna die to self and take it as a lesson and move forward.
Right, right, right. Well, I think this podcast we got great things ahead of us. I feel good for season two that's coming up. Uh, I'm looking forward to it. Uh, I'm looking forward to building uh, with you two. Uh, we've started something. Like I said before, we've been tested, but we persevered. Uh, so there's nothing but new levels to reach, new growth as a group, as individuals. Yeah, and then we're on a journey. And as our title is "Just Bear with Us," so our fans are going to be seeing you know some trials. They'll be seeing uh, some mistakes, but they'll be growing with us. So yeah.
Likewise, brothers, looking forward to growing with you guys. Season 2 gonna be a good one for sure.
Yeah,
Has to. There's no other way.
I feel like we've
It's only
grown
way
so
up.
much.
You got to elevate ourselves.
There's no other way.
All
It's
right,
like
we got to elevate ourselves. EYE,
elevate yourself every day, man.
you see it.
Yeah, I feel like we've grown so much um, that now this is just like we in a stride, bro. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
you can't you can't stop a bus, that's rolling in a sense.
Right, right, right.
There's another one for you, so just in case you're wondering.
You gotta
You know what
relax.
I'm saying? Yeah, no
You
way.
gotta
But
relax.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? It's it's one of those things like when you got that momentum,
Hmm.
fourth quarter, Jordan. You know what I'm saying? When you got that kind of momentum, bro, like when you all see eye to eye, you move like a team. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You move as one
Hmm.
band, one sound. Like, you know what I mean? It's not us trying to um, be our own person or take from the podcast to make ourselves look a certain way. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
when we move as one, like it's impossible to lose. And
We go ahead.
hmm,
Finish what you're saying. Finish what you're saying.
now I'm just looking forward to like move, growing like we said, and seeing not only our growth but just like our ideas come to fruition. Like that's
Hmm.
my biggest thing. Like seeing the goals we set for ourselves be
Hmm.
achieved.
Um, I've kind of forgot what I was about to say.
Well, dang.
Yeah, because you had said something and it triggered my thought at that moment.
The
And I,
bus, the wheels on the bus.
nah, nah, nah. I
That
forgot.
wasn't it.
I forgot what I forgot what I was about to say.
Well, I mean, what was I talking about? I,
Now we all got like superpowers. Like we all got something to contribute. Like we're all special. You know. So like we're a group, but we all got special attributes, special characteristics, personalities uh, that make this what it is. That's what makes this good. Like so, we're all special in our own unique way. So it's like now we just bring that together. It's like we can't lose.
facts.